Hey guys, today I wanted to show off a nice little Grasshopper unit, but for something special I actually have a dealer authorized rep for Grasshopper that's going to go over a few things, and we're going to ask him tough questions that I know I want answered, you want answered. So I want everybody to meet Kyle.
How you doing?
Yep. So Kyle does a fantastic job on supporting the Grasshoppers here in Iowa, on helping dealers out, and does a great job on getting units into people's hands. This particular unit is a used unit, but Kyle set it up to where it came from another dealer, so our local city could actually demo this unit and check it out. So having a company that stands behind you to do that, frankly amazing. Greatly appreciate it, Kyle.
Thanks for it.
So on these 225s, we haven't stocked this unit. So why don't you give me, a couple of the strong points of what sets this aside from some of the others? Because I know it's a full heavy-duty commercial unit. That's easy to say that, but what would you say is our main point?
This is a heavy-duty unit. In today's throwaway society, most people are building $4,000 or $5,000 lawnmowers that last 5-10 years. You throw them away. A Grasshopper will last 20 plus years. So you can completely rebuild them when they do have issues, and you can continue to use them. So they're definitely an investment, but they'll definitely last a long time, especially when you take care of it. The 225 is something that we've had a lot of luck with. A 200 series, it's got a 25 horse Kohler command in it. It's been a very good engine for us. We use horizontal crankshaft engines versus a vertical shaft. The placement of the seals and the cooling will provide for a much longer lasting life on this engine. We typically get about 2,000 hours on these engines. So heavy duty, they're built to last. We also use individual pump and wheel motors. This is a hydro gear 12cc pump and wheel motor. We don't have gears in these transmissions that'll break down, so a pretty heavy duty setup that will last a long time and stand up to the demands of commercial milling aspects. So horizontal crankshaft engine, individual pump and wheel motor. Grasshopper also has a 3-piece frame in this setup. So the engine is ISO mounted from the rest of the frame. The operator seat is ISO mounted, and then we also have the rest of the frame. So it's not a one-piece frame like most companies will use. You can see all the ISO mounts here that will reduce vibration, reduce fatigue, and then we have the suspension seat. So instead of focusing on mower suspension, we try to isolate the operator seat. So the operator is what moves up and down and follows the contour of the ground and handles all the bumps and bruises and makes for a quality ride.
Now with this Grasshopper seat, that's kind of an industry standard of a really premium seat. Through Grasshopper, don't we get a longer warranty because it's on a Grasshopper?
The Grasshopper seat is a quality piece of equipment that will last as long as the mower will. We don't have too many issues with these seats. I'm not familiar with exactly what the warranty is on this seat, but can be rebuilt if we do have some issues. But it's been a good seat for us overall.
Now, longevity, one of the things with that is, I know on my standpoint in the shop and everything, we look at maintenance. What are some of the things that you like for the ease of maintenance and taking care of things on this particular unit?
Definitely Grasshopper would pride themselves on low cost of maintenance, which is why we do a lot of work with cities, commercial cutters who use and abuse their machines. We've got 5 grease points on this machine, easy access to the deck belt. We've got 3 grease certs on the spindles, so one here, one here. You can also reach these from the side. We've got 2 grease certs on the front 2 caster wheels, so that's 5 grease certs. Deck belts, we have a lot of luck with these things, a lot of commonality of parts. So deck belt that we use today in this engine, in this mower, is probably something that we've used 10 years ago on the same similar mower we built back then. But 1,000-hour fluid changes with the Grasshopper on the transmission. A lot of companies are doing 200, 300, 500-hour transmission fluid changes. Ours can go 1,000 hours because of the quality of the lubricant that we use in the transmissions.
Now back to this deck real quick. A lot of people think that this ridge is just a single piece here of steel. What is this actually?
This is a whole plate that will come in over the spindle assemblies. So a lot of companies will just have one single layer of steel. We've got a 7-gauge skirt. We've also got 7-gauge top plus a 10-gauge reinforcement. So we've got 7 on 10 gauge. And in the stress zones over the spindles, our decks are over a 1/4 inch thick in the stress zones. So if you hit a rock, you hit something you shouldn't hit, you're not going to tweak this deck nearly as easy as you will a lot of other decks. So these things truly are built like a tank. They're built to last. They're built to last a long time.
So as you see this second plate, you can look at the thickness of that steel against my thumb. Also see where it's welded on and bolted at each spindle as well. Have you ever seen one of these bend?
I have not. You have to hit something real hard.
Well, I usually tell people when show them the leading edge that if you bend the deck, I don't care if you were wearing a seatbelt, you probably didn't stay on the mower.
Yes, good point. Grasshopper does use the anvil edge, leading edge with this bull nose. We say that's 75 times stronger than a deck that just runs vertically straight down. So, you know, like the front end of the train engine, this thing is built to withstand some heavy loads. This is also a rear discharge deck, popular in cemeteries. Cities like to use them in medians and right-of-ways because it's not kicking out rocks or debris. In cemeteries, they're not kicking grass onto headstones and knocking flowers off. You can trim with both sides of the deck. This deck has 4 blades, so there's 3 regular blades and there's a 4th blade underneath the seat that's a high-low mulching blade to chop up the grass a little finer before it spits it out the back. So Grasshopper's been doing rear discharge for a number of years now, and it's really gaining in popularity. Like I said, cemeteries, campgrounds, they're not kicking rocks out. Schools are using them in parks, they're not kicking rocks out at kids as they're playing. You can go out and you can mow with this thing while other people still in the park, in the campground, and then cemeteries, cities of medians.
And that makes it nice because, you know, especially I could see like backyards and stuff with people with flower beds that have the rocks on the edge or something. You aren't kicking things into the flower bed or having to worry about kicking things into the house and stuff either.
Yeah, good point.
Another point is this front end's kind of gusseted a little. You don't always see that much material holding that frame together up front.
Again, built like a tank. I've heard people say with their other mowers, they're worried about hitting stuff because they don't want to break their mowers. With a Grasshopper, people are worried about what they're going to hit with their mower because whatever the mower hits, it's going to break. So these things are built like a tank.
One thing that I noticed on this when I was quoting this out is this front section here, it's actually an option to put a push bumper on that to move picnic tables and things like that, which that in itself kind of says, hey, it's meant to be used. Instead of having to get off your mower to move the picnic table, you can come up to the edge of it and just kind of push it to the side, do your mowing, and come back and push it back. Me, I'm all about, you know, how's that lazy? I mean, making things easier. So
these things are built to work, and again, we work with a lot of cities, a lot of schools, a lot of campgrounds, and they've got a lot of picnic tables and such that they need pushing around. And so, yeah, we do have the stabilized pusher bar that will mount up front, so you can push that stuff around. We also have Duraflex suspension forks that can be added, so you can add some suspension to the front of the forks. We do have the ISO mounted seat, which is very comfortable if you have back issues, but then those suspension forks do also add a little comfort with picking up some of the little bumps throughout the yard.
absolutely.
Grasshopper was one of the first companies to put the fuel tank underneath the seat. Most companies are putting them up in the fenders, where if you've got tanks on both sides and you're on a side hill or a steep slope, that could offset some of your center of gravity. So Grasshopper puts their 12-gallon fuel tank underneath the seat, and so you get a lower center of gravity, which helps on hillsides, steep terrain, road ditches.
And also more isolation here. And your hydro gear reservoir is down center low as well.
Yep, right here is your overflow tank on the transmission fluid. Again, 1,000-hour fluid change. Yeah, this has been a popular unit for us. So.
A couple things that I noticed Grasshopper does that others don't with like the Kohler Command and things is you guys actually take and insulate the fuel lines.
We do. You try to protect the fuel lines as best as possible. So it's a hot, dirty job out here mowing, and You got a lot of heat coming back here, so just try to protect the fuel lines. And
I remember the first Grasshopper we got in with a Kohler, I seen that, and my first thought is, why isn't everyone else doing that? Because we run into vapor locking on chainsaws back in the day quite a bit, and because the fuel line was getting hot. I haven't seen any of these vapor lock on the others, but that one extra step of thinking ahead versus, you know, if you run into an issue. I don't know if many mechanics today, fresh out of cert school, would be able to know what a vapor lock is.
yeah, Grasshopper definitely does their homework. They build lawnmowers. They've been building lawnmowers for over close to 50 years now, and that's all they do is build lawnmowers, and they're pretty good at it. So they put a lot of time and effort, a lot of thought into the process, and they come up with a lot of good ideas that the rest of the industry follows suit. It's kind of a copycat industry, so Grasshopper has led the way in a lot of different regards, and that's why everybody likes to copy what they do.
Right, right. Because, you know, if you look at spec sheets can always look kind of the same and normal. So,
not too many people use the brown can yet, but
no,
I think it's catching on.
it has to be catching on, because I've seen machines 20 years old. Actually, I'll post a picture in right here. It's still brown and tan. It looks, you know, it looks the same. It's not exactly exciting out the door, but 20 years down the road, it's not bad.
It works well for this industry. The dirt and the grass stains, they kind of blend in with the brown decks. So,
Right.
yeah, it kind of covers up that use. They're built to last 20, 25 years, so you need something that's going to look good after 25 years. And Grasshopper's doing a good job of that.
Yep. So, well, Kyle, I greatly appreciate your help. Oh, I can't see you there. I got to move around. Sunlight's bright today. Look at the beautiful sky, folks. But Kyle, I greatly appreciate everything you do for us. I greatly appreciate, you know, educating us on this Grasshopper and taking the time to help support us, help support our community, as well as, you know, growing the Grasshopper business all the way around. It's fantastic that we have that kind of support. As most people know from following my channel, I've dealt with a lot of companies, and finding that support's very hard. Some of them may just pull out right from underneath it because they want to take their market somewhere else. So anyways, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you much.
Yeah, thanks, Gordon. We appreciate it. We're
All
a
right.
small family-owned company, and we still believe in doing business in that way.
Fantastic. Thank you.